Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. Which text is it?
40?
Oh,
41.
43. What did you do?
They have 41 up on the screen.
I remember seeing this, but it's fine. 41, 41.
Maybe there's other, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. 41. You're right. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 14, The Disappearance of Lord Krishna, Text 41. Please repeat. Kachitvam brahmanam balam Kachitvam brahmanam balam Gamriddham roginam striyam Gamriddham roginam striyam Sharanopastram Sharanopasritam sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam.
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam.
Natyakshi Sharanapradaha
Natyakshi Sharanapradaha.
Natyakshi Sharanapradaha Kachitvam brahmanam balam Gamriddham roginam striyam Sharanopasritam sattvam Natyakshi Sharanapradaha. Please chant.
Kachitvam brahman balam
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Amridam roginam striyam
Kamridam roginam shriyam
Sharanopastram sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Natyakish saranam prada
Nadyakshi Sharanaprada. Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Kamridam yoginam shriyam
Gamriddham roginam striyam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Natyakshi Sharanaprada.
Natyakshi Sharanaprada.
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Amridam roginam striyam
Gamriddham roginam striyam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Natyakshi sharanapradaha
Natyakshi Sharanaprada. Ladies,
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Kachitvam brahmanam balam Gamriddham roginam striyam
Sharanopasritam sattvam
Natyakshi Sharanapradaha. Anyone else?
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Kachitvam brahmanam balam
Gamriddham roginam striyam
Gamvridam Roginam Shriyam
Sharanopashritam Sattvam
Asritam Sattvam
Natyakshi Sharanam Prada
Nadyakshi Sharana Prada
Kashitvam Brahmanam Balam
Kashitvam Brahmanam Balam Gamvridam Roginam Shriyam Sharanopashritam Sattvam Nadyakshi Sharana Prada Kashitvam Brahmanam Balam Gamvridam Yoginam Shriyam Sharanopashritam Sattvam Nadyakshi Sharana Prada.
Word-to-word translation. Kachit,
Kashit
whether.
Brahmanam
Tvam, yourself.
yourself
Brahmanam,
Brahmana
the Brahmanas.
the Brahmanas
Balam,
Balam
the child.
child
Gam,
Gam
the cow.
the cow
Vridham,
Vridam
old.
old
Roginam,
Roginam
the diseased.
the disease
Striyam,
Shriyam
the woman.
the woman
Sharana upasritam,
Sharanam Pasritam
having approached for protection.
having approached for protection
Sattvam,
Sattvam
any living being.
any living being
Na,
now
whether.
whether
Atyakshi,
Adyakshi
not given shelter.
not given shelter
Sharanam Pradaha,
Sharanam Pradaha
deserving protection.
deserving protection.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.
Translation. You are always the protector of the deserving living beings, such as Brahmanas, children, cows, women, and the diseased. Could you not give them protection when they approached you for shelter? Can you repeat the translation, please? You are always the protector of the deserving living beings.
You're always the protector of the deserving living beings,
Such as Brahmanas, children, cows, women, and the diseased.
and the diseased.
Would you not give them protection
Could you not give them protection
when they approached you for shelter?
when they approached you for shelter?
The Brahmanas, who are always engaged in researching knowledge for the society's welfare work, both materially and spiritually, deserve the protection of the king in all respects. Similarly, the children of the state, the cow, the diseased person, the woman, and the old man specifically require the protection of the state or a Kshatriya king. If such living beings do not get protection by the Kshatriya or the royal order or by the state, it is certainly shameful for the Kshatriya or the state. If such things had actually happened to Arjuna, Maharaj Yudhishthir was anxious to know about these discrepancies. Om Jnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripuri Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Siddhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, thank you all devotees for coming today for Srimad Bhagavatam class. Online also, thank you for joining. So today is Gita Jayanti. We will discuss a little bit about the glories of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and also we will just slightly touch upon today's Srimad Bhagavatam shloka. So this chapter is entitled The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. And we saw that Yudhishthira Maharaj was observing inauspicious omens. And he was considering what could be the cause for these inauspicious omens. And he was discussing with Bhimsen. And he was also concerned that Arjun is away. He's in Dwarka, he has not returned, it's been a long time. And as he was discussing and he was thinking there would be no other cause, he was worried, he was apprehensive. Why am I seeing all these inauspicious omens? And at that time, Arjun shows up. But Arjun looked very dejected. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking Arjun several questions. What happened? Why are you looking so despondent? What happened? So we saw several questions in the past few verses that were asked by Yudhishthira Maharaj. So today's, he said, is your health all right? You appear to have lost your bodily luster. Is this due to others disrespecting and neglecting you because of your long stay at Dwarka? That you stay in someone else's home for too long, then people can start disrespecting you. So is that the cause why you're looking so dejected? Or has someone addressed you with unfriendly words or threatened you? Could you not give in charity to one who asked? Now Kshatriyas and Grihasthas, they are expected to give charity. If somebody comes to you asking for charity, if you're not able to give, then that's the cause of great unhappiness. So is that what happened to you? Or could you not keep your promise to someone? Maybe you promised to do something for someone and you were not able to keep your promise. Is that why you're looking so dejected? And in today's verse, Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, you're always the protector of the deserving living beings. Who are these deserving living beings? Brahmanas, children, cows, women, and the diseased. So, we read in several places, even in this canto, earlier chapter, we read about in the context that because Dushasan handled Draupadi's hair roughly, because of that offense, that means a woman was disrespected. A woman was disrespected, insulted, not given protection. As a result of that, as a consequence of that, so many men were killed in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That means, and so there in that purport, Srila Prabhupada explained, they need protection, they need to be protected. And in this verse, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, this is the duty of the Kshatriya. Giving protection is the duty of the Kshatriya, administrative class. So if they are not able to do their duty of giving protection, that's a discrepancy. That's a discrepancy. That means there will be consequences for that. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, could you not give them protection when they approached you for shelter? So Prabhupada is saying that why the Brahmanas need to be protected? Brahmanas are the ones that are showing light to the whole society. They are the ones that are educating the people how to advance in life. They give us Shastric injunctions, simply making some, for example, we take in today's society. There is no guidance from the Brahmanas. What do you mean by guidance from the Brahmanas? They will show us what the scriptures are telling us. What is the right way? Even if you want to make some material progress, what is the right way to make material progress? So when you say karma, karma means that which is prescribed by the Vedas, that is karma. If you do activities which are not prescribed by Vedas, that is vikarma. You don't make any progress by doing vikarma. So Brahmanas are the ones that are educating the society. Even if you want to make material progress, what is the right way to make material progress? And Srimad Bhagavatam tells us, simply making material progress without considering, without caring for spiritual advancement, that type of material progress, that type of endeavor is of no use. It's of no use. So Srimad Bhagavatam is even rejecting doing just karma for the sake of following Vedic principles for the sake of material enjoyment. But nevertheless, who is the person that is giving us this education? It's the Brahmana. So Brahmana is compared to the head of the body. If there's no head, can a body live? Prabhupada said in the lecture, like if there's no hand, you can still live. If there's no leg, you can live. But if you have no head, can you live? You cannot live. So, Brahmanas are essential. Brahminical culture is essential for any society. For a progressive society, Brahmanas are essential. And such Brahmanas, because they are completely engaged in the duty, in the service of educating the people, helping them in yoga, in connecting with the Supreme, they don't have time for making arrangements for their defense or even for earning their livelihood. They don't go to work and earn their living. So therefore it becomes the responsibility of the Kshatriyas to give protection to the Brahmanas. About women in that third portion of Prabhupada explained, if the women are protected, you get good children. In Bhagavad Gita also we read that Arjuna says, Adharmavi bhavan Krishna pradushyanti kulastriya strishu tushtasu ashneya jayate vanasankara. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted. When irreligion is prominent, the women become polluted. And with the degradation of womanhood, or descendant of Vishnu, comes unwanted progeny. And then what's the consequence of unwanted progeny? Sankaro narakaya eva kularnanam kulasya patanti pitarojesham prutta vignodakakriya. An increase of unwanted population certainly creates a hellish life, both for the family that has produced and for the ancestors and the people who caused that situation. Everyone is going to reside in them. So the consequences are not good. If women are not protected, the future is very bleak. Protection means the women should be given protection to remain chaste. They should be provided for so that they can be satisfied and they can remain chaste and then they can produce good children and raise them properly. That means a good society. So that's why it is the duty of Kshatriyas to make sure that the women are protected. Children, yes. So after the children come, then they need to be educated. What type of education do we give? If we give them spiritual education, then this can be their last life. They don't have to come back into this material world again to suffer birth, old age, disease, and death. So the whole system has to be organized by the Kshatriya. This is the duty of the Kshatriya, the ruler. The administrative class is the one who's going to do this. Everyone else is, it's like the head of the family, the father and there's children and there's wife and there's, the older people also. The old people need to be protected. Why? They have already lived their lives. Now they are at the fag end of their life. They still have an opportunity. Now, at least now, if they can remain peaceful and they can practice Krishna consciousness, then they don't have to come back again to take birth. So the old people need to be protected. But who is going to arrange this? This is in the hands of the leader of the society. He has to arrange that. And what is the duty of the followers? The duty of the followers is to follow such a good leader, be obedient to that leader and support that leader. Then that's a good system, good society. Everyone is progressing. So you need such a qualified leader like Yudhishthir Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, somebody who is capable of leading the whole society on the spiritual path. You can, when you are actually practicing spiritual life, there is no need of endeavoring for material advancement. That will follow automatically. What to speak of material advancement, even liberation follows if you practice bhakti. If you have that kind of a leader who is Krishna conscious himself and is able to guide everyone else, give protection to all these different classes, then it's a progressive society. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya. He's a leader. He's a Kshatriya. So did it happen that you were not able to give protection to any of these people? They approached you for protection and you were not able to protect. It's a big, what do you say? It's a very big thing for a Kshatriya not being able to do his particular duty. Is that why you're looking dejected? So that's what Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking. So today we are celebrating Gita Jayanti. Gita Jayanti is the advent of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. As we are discussing just now in Srimad Bhagavatam, the dharma, right? What is the dharma of Kshatriya? If there is no Brahmanical culture, or if the Brahmanas become deviated from the actual path, because that is the nature of time. As time progresses, things start watering down, right? So then things have to be revived again. Once again, you have to start. So it's not that Bhagavad Gita was spoken for the first time on this day on the battlefield of Kurukshetra 5,000 years ago. Yes, Bhagavad Gita was spoken on this day, but it's not that this is the first time. Bhagavad Gita is eternal. Bhagavad Gita is the manual for humanity. When you buy any device, you buy a computer or whatever, you get a manual how to use this device. And if you follow the guidelines of the manual, then you can get the best use of the device that you've purchased. So now the device that we have is our body. So how can we get the best of this human form of life? How do we know? That's given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita prepares us completely, gives us all the tools that we need to make this human form of life a success. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita is not a history book. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a manual that we need to carry with us at all times. So Krishna told Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita itself that imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave prama manurikshvakve. Right? This science of Krishna consciousness or the science of Bhagavad Gita, I first spoke to the sun god Vivasvan. Vivasvan gave it to his son Manu. Manu gave it to his son Ikshvaku. And in this way, this Bhagavad Gita was handed down in this disciplic succession. But in due course of time, it was lost. So then, now I'm speaking again to you. So I'm starting another parampara, another disciplic succession, because the science was lost in due course of time. So that happened today, 5,000 years ago. So I think everyone here is aware of the situation, under what circumstances Bhagavad Gita was spoken. You all know Mahabharata. So Arjuna is here standing on the battlefield, maybe around this time, at this time in the morning, because the battle starts at sunrise. So they were all assembled on the battlefield. So what was the background? Unjustly, their kingdom was usurped and they were exiled to the forest for 13 years. And they fulfilled all the conditions of the match, of the gambling match. They stayed in exile and 1 year of being incognito. And finally they came back after fulfilling all the conditions, and the Kauravas refused to return the kingdom. And they said, if you want, you have to fight. So what options do the Pandavas have? Even Krishna personally went as a peace messenger, asking Dhritarashtra Maharaj, you don't have to give them the whole kingdom, just give 5 villages, so that we can stop this world war, which is certainly going to cause mass killing. Millions and millions of men, Kshatriyas, are going to be killed, and so many more are going to be affected. The wives are going to become widows. There won't be anyone to maintain the family. The men are all going to be killed. So we can stop this. In order to stop this, even though it is not fair, just give. So, just give 5 villages. But Duryodhana said, what to speak of 5 villages? I won't give you even that much land which can hold the tip of the needle. If you want even that much land, you have to fight. Now, what option does Arjuna have, or the Pandavas have, other than what? They are Kshatriyas. We are just now reading in the Bhagavatam. Kshatriya's duty is to give protection. That is their nature. Why is someone a Kshatriya? Why is someone a Shudra? Why is someone a Brahmana? Chaturvarnyam mayastishtam gunakarma vibhavasham. Right? Based on his guna, on his nature, he is a Kshatriya. Or that means a Kshatriya has a certain nature. He can only do that type of work. So, if they don't have anything to rule, what are they going to do? In Shastra, there is also, what type of work in emergency, what type of work can a Kshatriya do? He cannot stoop down to a Shudra's job. He can take up a Brahmana's work, but not become a Shudra or Vaishya. So what can they do? They don't have anything to start with. They don't have any, how will they begin? So give them 5 villages. No. So now they have to fight. So this is the circumstance in which now Arjuna is standing on the battlefield, and all of a sudden, now remember, Arjuna's situation is actually comparable to each of our struggles in life. Only his struggle is the limit, right? As far as it can get, as bad as it can get. That is his situation. But everyone in this material world, every conditioned soul, is facing struggles on a day-to-day basis. So, Arjuna is actually an eternal associate of Krishna. An eternal associate of Krishna means he is never bewildered by mind. Nevertheless, Krishna put his devotee in this bewilderment so that he can give us Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna standing there, seeing all his worshipable superiors, his guru, his loving grandfather who took care of him, and his brothers, his mother, after their father's demise, who raised them who gave them education and love, he has to shoot arrows at his grandfather and at his guru and kill them? And what to speak of all the other family members, brothers, nephews, friends, not just on the other side. Even it's not that when he's going to fight, only the people on the enemy side are going to get killed. Even on his side, everyone is going to get killed. Why so much bloodshed? Just so that I can rule? I don't want to fight. So this was, and to what extent was he suffering? His senses were drying up. And do we ever have that type of suffering where we feel that, your body is trembling, your senses are drying up, and you're crying and you're perspiring out of suffering? Do we have such a situation? This is Arjun's situation. Of course, at first Krishna tried to explain to him gently that Kutastham Kashmanamidam Vishamaya Samupastitam Anari Krishna Aswaryam Akirtitaram Arjuna. Arjuna, you are an Arya. Aryans means they are advanced human beings. You cannot act like this. You're a Kshatriya, you're standing on the battlefield to fight, and all of a sudden you're saying, I don't want to fight, I'm getting scared. What is this? Of course, he was not getting scared, but the symptoms appeared like it was. He was getting scared out of compassion for the suffering of all the people. He didn't want to be the cause of their suffering. But Krishna said, no, a Kshatriya's duty is you should fight. So then Arjuna immediately started arguing with Krishna. Why? Because Arjun's relationship with Krishna is that of friendship. Priya Sakha. Very affectionate friend. So among friends, when you have a disagreement on some point, you will argue with each other. Your friend will say something, you say, no, it's like this, and he will say something, and you will say something. There will never be a conclusion. Both will keep arguing. So when Krishna said, this is your weakness of heart, you are thinking this is actually compassion. No, this is your weakness of heart as a Kshatriya. This is because of your illusion. You get up and fight, do your duty. And immediately Arjuna started giving so many, arguments. No, Dharma Shastras say you should respect your superiors. You cannot kill them, right? Even if they are, sometimes even they chastise you unnecessarily. You're supposed to tolerate because they're your superiors, so on and so forth. So he was giving all different arguments. Then Krishna kept quiet. He didn't say anything. And Arjuna, after giving all these arguments, apparently defeating Krishna's instruction or Krishna's advice, he felt that after all this, still my suffering is not going away. I may have argued with Krishna, I may have said that yes, I'm right, but still my suffering is not going away. I'm still at the same point where I started off. And this is just drying up my senses. My mind is reeling. Then he said, Krishna, I surrender unto you. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. Prichhami tvam dharma sammoda cheta. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanam. So Arjun said, now I'm the disciple. I won't argue anymore. I'm not your equal. Now I'm the disciple. Please say something. Please instruct me. Tell me what is best for me. I promise I won't argue anymore. Then Krishna said, no, you are my friend. How come you're becoming my disciple? You should accept Vyasdev or Brihaspati as your spiritual master. They will give you nice advice. So Arjuna is saying, what to speak of Vyasdev, Brihaspati? My suffering that I'm undergoing right now, this I don't see anyone in the three worlds who can dispel this misery. Oh, you are the only one who can relieve me from this suffering. Even if I got the three worlds, right? What to speak of just this earthly planet? If I got all three worlds, still this suffering won't go away. please instruct me. And then Bhagavad Gita begins. Bhagavad Gita begins with Ashocyananda Shochasva, Pragyavadamsya Bhashasi, Gatasun Agatasunshya, Nanu Shochati Pandita. So the very first spiritual instruction that Bhagavad Gita gives us is you are not this body. Gatasun Agatasunshya, Nanu Shochati Pandita. What is the what is the criterion that decides who is a learned person? If he has 3 PhDs, would you call that person a learned person? According to Bhagavad Gita, a learned person is he who will not lament either for this body or for the subtle body. So we have two. We have gross body and subtle body. The gross body, it will not stay. No matter what you do, how great you are, it will not stay. And the subtle body will not be killed. It will stay until you get liberated. So even after this body is finished, the subtle body will continue to exist. So if any person is actually learned, he will not lament for this gross body or subtle body. That is the beginning, first instruction of Bhagavad Gita Krishna gives to Arjuna. So in this Bhagavad Gita, we find 5 important topics. 5 important topics. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. There are billions of verses in the Vedic scriptures. And the essence of all those billions of verses is given in Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, 700 verses. So that means if you have understood these 700 verses, you have understood all the Vedas, whatever you need to know. So there are 5 topics that are discussed in Bhagavad Gita. First one is Ishvara. Second, Jiva. Third, Prakriti. Fourth, Kala. 5, Karma. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala and Karma. If we understand these 5 topics, we have understood everything. So, Srila Prabhupada in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita explains very nicely, elaborately these 5 topics. About, first of all, we need to know who is Ishvara. Then we will understand we won't have this problem of this is not my faith, right? This is a Hindu religion. You will actually understand this is a science. It's not a religion or faith. Because faith or religion can change, will change. But the science will remain the same. Whether I'm a Hindu or a Muslim or a Jewish or a Christian, I have the same body made of, skin, bones, blood, or further you can say earth, water, fire, air, ether. I also get fever, and a Muslim or a Christian or a Jewish person will also get fever. Do you say, when you go to the store, you say, give me a Christian Tylenol for the Christian body, or a Hindu body, give me a different medicine? No, the medicine is the same, whichever body we may be in. So the body is the same. This designation, external designation, right? We label it like that. So Bhagavad Gita is not a sectarian or a particular, it doesn't belong to any particular faith. Bhagavad Gita is the medicine that will treat our disease. And we are all diseased in this material world. It doesn't matter which faith or country we may belong to. We all have the same disease. What is that disease? What is that disease? What is our disease? In this world, what is the disease? Yes, Prabhuji.
Trying to be the controller.
Yes, trying to be the controller. And then the next thing is trying to be the enjoyer. You control and you want to enjoy. That's why we come to this material world. So Prabhupada is explaining that very systematically. First of all, you understand who is Ishvara. He is the supreme controller. And then there is Jiva. Jiva is also conscious. His consciousness is also transcendental. The Lord is also conscious. He is transcendental. The Jiva's consciousness is also transcendental. But there's a problem. The living entity can be influenced by the material energy and his consciousness can be polluted. So that is the condition of all the living entities in this material world. So first of all, we said there are 5 things. There is Ishvara, there is Jiva, there is Prakriti, Kala and Karma. Ishvara means the supreme personality of Godhead, the supreme absolute truth. Jiva means all the living entities. What is the definition of the living entities? They are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. Parts and parcels means there is an ocean and there is a drop. Qualitatively, they are both salt water. Nevertheless, there is a difference. So, a drop and an ocean, that's the difference between the living entity and the Supreme Lord. Or a gold, right? Gold mine and a small particle of gold. Like that, we are parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. So, therefore, we also have this quality of being the controller, being the enjoyer. But we cannot be the supreme controller, the supreme enjoyer. Then there is Prakriti. Prakriti means the material nature or material manifestation. So all the bodies that we see. So we have particles, spiritual particles, and then we have these bodies. And we have other bodies, and we have bigger bodies like the sky, the earth, and the mountains. All this is Prakriti. So this is said in Bhagavad Gita about Prakriti. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamne vinna prakriti rashtaka. So this Prakriti is called the separated energy of the Lord. It is outside of the Lord. Whereas the living entities are related with the Lord, eternally related with the Lord. That's the difference. But the living entities are also energy of the Lord. Aparayam itaskanya prakriti viddhime param. Jiva bhuta mahabhaho yedam dhavete jagat. What is the position of the living entities? They are trying to exploit the resources of this inferior material nature. But both of them are Prakriti. Who's Prakriti? Ishvara's Prakriti. One is conscious and the other one is not conscious. So that was Prakriti. Kala. Now, Prakriti has 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Modes means you can say 3 qualities. So everything in this world can be categorized in these qualities, whether it is an activity or food or your happiness or the religion that you follow, they can all be categorized within these 3 modes. All activities that are done as a combination of these modes along with under the control of time. So you see in this material world, everything is timed. There is a beginning and there is an end of everything, whether us or take this stand or anything. It started at some point and at some point it's going to end. The whole material creation also started at one point and is going to end. So that is Kala, time. So under the influence of time and with the combination of these modes, whatever activities are performed in this world, that is called karma. Now what is the result of karma? Since time immemorial, we don't know since when. That means, I know when I was born in this body, but before this I had other bodies. So when does this whole cycle begin? Where I take birth and I die, and again I take birth and I die? Nobody knows. Since time immemorial. And every time I perform some karma, I do some activity, there's some reaction awaiting me. So Prabhupada explains, if there's a businessman, and with his intelligence, he builds that business and he amasses a lot of wealth. Now he will enjoy the result of that wealth, right? He will get a big bungalow and he'll just try to enjoy. On the other hand, if he failed in his business, he lost everything, then he will end up in debts, right? He'll go bankrupt and he'll suffer. It's like that. When we do karma, we either enjoy the results of our good karma or we suffer the results of our bad karma. And that is what has been happening since time immemorial to all the living beings in this world. Now, can we change this? That's the important question. Do I have to just continue like this? Like just reaping the results of my karma? No, you can't change this. But in order to change that, you have to have perfect knowledge. Where do we get this perfect knowledge? Bhagavad Gita as it tells us. By doing what activities can you change, come out of this cycle of karma? You can even stop your repeated birth and death. So therefore, Bhagavad Gita is very important for each and every human being, regardless of which religious background or which country. So in honor of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and in honor of Lord Sri Krishna who gave us this Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, who is the Senapati Bhakta. Senapati Bhakta means he is the commander-in-chief of all the Bhaktas. He is waging this war against Maya. How? We go out and we distribute Bhagavad Gita to each and every person so that his life will change forever, for good. Right? He doesn't have to take birth again in this material world to suffer the results of his karma. So therefore we do the Christmas marathon. We go out and we give this Bhagavad Gita as it is to as many people as possible. So I will end here. Thank you all. And if there's any questions, comments, corrections, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments, thoughts, realizations?
So many wonderful points that you made. The one in the beginning with the verse in relation to the protection of the brahmanas, the women, the cows, the children, and the kshatriya's duty. So in the perfect order of varnashram dharma, this is what's taking place. But we see in modern society that's not, there's no possibility of this.
Exactly.
So Srila Prabhupada within ISKCON, he said that he wanted to establish that Brahmin class, right?
Yeah.
So how can we understand or relate to our role within ISKCON to rise to the standard of establishing that Brahmin class? And if so, and then if we were to create that, how could we be protected in this modern age? I mean, how can we try to fulfill this now?
Yes. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada said only half of his work was done. Remaining half is incomplete. It's not done yet. So when we read Srila Prabhupada's letters, we see even before Srila Prabhupada came to the West, he was writing, when we read Leela, we see he was writing to the leaders in India. And there was one letter that was written by Srila Prabhupada to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was actually a candidate to be India's Prime Minister then, but then it didn't happen. But Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter. In that letter, Srila Prabhupada gave his plan for the society. So Srila Prabhupada said his movement, this Krishna consciousness movement, had 4 stages. So the first stage is the Sankirtan movement. That's what we are seeing. Or that's when Srila Prabhupada gave Sankirtan movement means you go out on the streets, you reach out to the people, you give them a book, you are introducing Krishna consciousness to them, you go out on Harinam. That's first stage. Then the next level is temple movement. Now you bring those people from the street to the temple. You train them. So they come to the temple, like even now when we come every Sunday, devotees come to the temple. So there is a place where you can all come and gather, we worship the Lord. That's the temple movement. And the next stage is initiation movement. You start coming to the temple and you see and you want to become serious, and you want to commit your life to this movement. That's the initiation movement. So we have come to this stage, but there is a fourth stage. The fourth stage is called the classless society. Classless society means actually we are looking for a classless society, or we are thinking we are already in a classless society where everyone is equal. Nobody is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, anyone can do whatever he likes, right? But real classless society means we all identify ourselves as servants of the Supreme Lord. That's the actual classless society. So what Srila Prabhupada meant by this fourth stage is, now all these devotees who are practicing Krishna consciousness, they have taken it seriously, they have taken initiation, they should come together and they should live in a society of devotees. And we should be able to take care of each other. And come to a point where we don't even have to depend on the outside society. We are, for that simplification, simplifying our lifestyle is important. We are not so dependent on the machines and so on and so forth outside. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada started the farm communities, New Vrindavan, at least as examples. And anyone who's willing to do that, they can come. We live as a devotee community. So somehow, over the years, that kind of fell away. So we have to go back to that. Any other questions, comments? Online.
How about on Zoom? Any of the devotees on Zoom have a question?
I have a question. Can I ask? Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances, all close to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, your class was wonderful as usual. And I have a question. Since this is Gita Jayanti and we are supposed to distribute Bhagavad Gita. So when we are approaching people on the street who have not heard of Bhagavad Gita, so we will say that about the glories of Bhagavad Gita, but when they read it, they will just, they will, I think that they will just start reading about the fight, and they will just, because they don't know the background story and they don't know anything about it, so they might be confused. So how do we explain them and how that clarity will come to them?
Yeah, it would be nice. So the question was that when we go out on the street and give them Bhagavad Gita, people may not be able to understand how to read it properly. They may just get caught up in the story part, or they will not understand. Is that what you're saying, Aditi Lata Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Of course, ultimately, Bhagavad Gita is Krishna's word, so it is not different from Krishna. If they get Bhagavad Gita in their hand, that means they're getting Krishna. You're giving them Krishna. So let Krishna do the magic after that. Sometimes people keep Bhagavad Gita in their bookshelves for years, and then one fine day, but at least the Bhagavad Gita is there, that when they're really in need, they can turn to Krishna, like Arjuna turned to Krishna, right? But sometimes it just stays there. But that doesn't mean that is all that we should do. If you have an opportunity, so if you're just, somebody is just going very quickly and you just want to give, that's fine, what can we do? But if you can actually talk to them and tell them, like I said today, what is this Bhagavad Gita about? There are 5 important topics. This is for you and me. And like that, you can give some introduction and guide them how to read Bhagavad Gita. There are 18 chapters, and the Bhagavad Gita is divided into so many sections. First section is talking about Nishkam Karma Yoga, second section about Bhakti Yoga, third section about Jnana Yoga. Like that, you can give some introduction. If you have that, that will be very good. But again, it depends on the recipient, how much that person is interested in taking. But if not anything else, at least if he gives a donation for a Bhagavad Gita, his journey has begun. Now, how soon he will pick it up and how he will progress, that is between him and Krishna. But you have done your job. But if you have an opportunity, if you can talk to them, then yes, you must explain to them what are the contents of this Bhagavad Gita and how to approach it, how to read it, and even the Sanskrit. Sometimes they may get bewildered how to proceed further, like that. So you can give some practical steps how to read like that. Was that okay, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
This India. I'll go to Srila Prabhupada, my humble obeisances. As usual, like she said, Aditi Lataji said, your class is wonderful. But about book distribution, what my guru's place, Vaisheshika Prabhu, he always used to say, first, just get familiar to that person. Most of the people, they say, no, we don't know anything, we don't want, I don't have money, all kinds of things. But slowly get close to them and talk something and make them little closer to you, and like, friendly thing, talk. As soon as they say, I don't have anything, I don't want the book, then we don't walk out. Try to establish little bit, like knowing each other. Then we can ask about this thing. And as soon as we say donation, no, they say, I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Oh, they say, you can say, this is a spiritual book. This is like you said, this is like Krishna in your house. You're inviting a God. So that is very good for your thing. Whatever you have, you can. God never asks anything. He has all those things. He never asks from us. We just feel that, we give fruit or something. But he says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Tvayam. So that's how, when we went for a book distribution, little bit way, I went to this apartment complex and everything. Some people said no, but we shouldn't be disgraced with that and try to establish little bit friendly thing. And then just we do whatever best we can do, Srila Prabhupada's mission, Krishna mission. That's all I felt.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so don't leave any stones unturned from your side. You give your best, but at the same time, always remember that it is in Krishna's hands, right?
Yeah, there was one class I felt, Srila Vaisheshika Prabhu's. He was just going for book distribution, and somewhere. And then when a person was smoking, standing there, and he said, and he asked that person, okay, this is Bhagavad Gita, and he said, no, I don't know anything. Then he made little bit friendly thing, and then he talked to him. Oh, you're smoking? He said, no, I have. Do you have any cigarette? I want one. Then that person was shocked. And then he said, he took a case of cigarettes from his pocket, and he said he wanted. No, give me that box, He says, no, I cannot give, I'm smoking. I need this. Then he had, do you have matches, a lighter or anything? He took the lighter. And then he just took it to his house, and then he just lighted the lamp up in front of the God. Just God gave him some feeling. Then he himself gave a little bit money, but so we just need to tell them, reprinting this spiritual book and like that. So sometimes after listening to a few minutes, they might. That's my experience.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Wisdom from you. So we can end here. It's already past 9. Yeah. Grantharaj, does anyone else know it?
I think we'll end here.
Yeah. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Sri Gita Jayanti ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaved Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Anchakalpadamishra, Vipassana Ananta Koti Vaishnava.
Hare Krishna. So tonight, we will have in the temple room at 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock, we'll start the reading of the Bhagavad Gita, the English version. It'll go to approximately 8 o'clock, 8:30. There'll be prasadam afterwards. The plan was to go out today and distribute books. Mother Nature is showing us something different right now. I don't know what time the rain looks like it's going to end. Okay, 2 o'clock. Okay, so if there's any changes, we may go out a little bit later. We'll update everybody on the WhatsApp group as well as through email if things change significantly. Also tomorrow, we'll be celebrating Gita Jayanti in the temple. From 1:30 to 4 to up until the Sunday feast, they'll be chanting the Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita. So many opportunities to get involved. And lastly, we encourage everybody to sponsor some Bhagavad Gitas during this time to distribute. It's $108 per case. There's 16 hardback Bhagavad Gitas in a case and 24 softback Bhagavad Gitas in a case, whichever you want. So we have a goal of 1,800 Bhagavad Gitas during this time. Worldwide, ISKCON is trying to distribute 3 million Bhagavad Gitas. So let's do our part, come together, whatever you can do, one case at a time, one book at a time. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions, just let me know. We'll see you at the Sunday program online. You can see it in our newsletter as well, ways to purchase and get involved. Hare Krishna. Yes.